Hello and welcome to SuperOK, where we try to do a decent enough job to entertain our people with our opinions on video games. It's Gannon here. It's my first time.
Here comes a new challenger.
Sorry, Gannon. I've got it from here. Hello, everyone, and welcome to SuperOK Podcast, where we try to do a decent enough job to entertain people with our opinions on video games. My name is Xander, the newest challenger here, and joining me today are two absolutely lovely human fighters. Up first is Gannon. Gannon, how you doing today?
I mean, I feel like you just took an SPD on my first intro ever and my first ever hosting job. I mean, I was already stumbling over the words, but really, did you have to click start right away? Did you have to press the start button and get in? I was just about to start it,
I've had my quarters up on this machine for a while, all right? I'm just excited to get going.
Well, that's beautiful. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm so glad that I don't have to host.
Well, I'm so excited to be here, and I'm also excited to be here with our other lovely human, Dale. How you doing, man?
I'm fine. I just beat someone up.
Hey, all right.
Oh, man. Good job, bud.
Look at that.
I didn't hear him go after you beat him.
Yeah. He's over there.
The good old.
He's not near the mic.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
That makes sense. So we are so excited to have you all here. Thanks for joining us and recording, and thanks for joining us and listening. We're going to start this episode off the same way we start every episode, by talking about a highlight of the week. This is where we take a second just to update you guys on something great that's happened in our lives. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first because I am a 40-year-old man.
What?
And this past weekend, went on a slip and slide for the first time in over 15 years.
Please tell me there's video.
There's not video for some reason. I didn't say no video, but nobody took any. But I was on a slip and slide. So here's the thing. My niece is some sort of savant. And 2 years ago, I was like, man, I love a good slip and slide. And she has held on to that ever since. And so she was like, oh, it's summer. It's hot out. We're going to play in the water. Uncle Dale, you've got to bring your bathing suit. We're going to set the slip and slide up. You're going to get to go on the slip and slide. And I'm like, I haven't been on a slip and slide in over 15 years. How badly is this going to break my body? And so pro tip, if you are an old ass man and you are planning on going on a slip and slide, you can take it sideways. Like you can do a sideways dive and take it like on your shoulder and hip. And that's a lot better than if you try and go full face down belly slide. I only tweaked my back a little bit, and only on the one where I did a full send, like face down forward. I'm not going to lie to you. It was the most fun one, but also my back was like, never do that again.
I really wish that I could have been there to see that.
It was a lot of fun.
Last time I was on a slip and slide, we had it set up at my grandma and grandpa's house. We had all the cousins there. Everyone's like in their 20s, and like we had it. They have this hill in their orchard, and it's like a 30-foot like span, and we made our own slip and slide out of like tarp and soap, and just made it go down this giant hill. And then we played chicken on the slip and slide, and that was a bad decision.
Yeah,
but, slip and slide in the summer, it doesn't get much better than that. So congrats on your niece for remembering that.
Yeah. Slip and slide chicken. Like only one person there has the ability to get out of the way.
Yeah. But you've met Nebus. You know that he's not going to get out of the way.
This sounds like the worst idea of all time is what I'm trying to say. Like the entire thing about chicken is that both people have the ability to like stop it, and only one does in this scenario. So it's literally just like, do you want to get hit the game?
I guess it's more like human bowling, right? But there's only one pin.
How do you bail out of the way though? Once you get going, do you just roll and hope it works?
You have to roll out. No, you
only
swing your body.
At the bottom can do it.
That's not true. You totally can swing your body.
Oh man, it sounds insane.
I
Anyway,
have never been on a slip and slide, so
let's get you on one. My niece has one. She's ready to rock.
SuperOK slip and slide Saturday. Let's do it.
The alliteration is there.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my highlight. It was awesome.
It's fantastic. That is a wonderful highlight. Mine is it's like a highlight, but also a low light, but a little bit of a highlight. I don't know. So I'm really excited for Street Fighter 6, right? Been hyping it up in the Discord a ton. Very, very excited to be playing it. Finally, so I bought all the stuff for a new computer. I built a new computer. I was super excited to have it. And then I had some issues with my RAM. And then I was out for like 3 weeks. It felt like 4 weeks or something like that before I finally got to get back in. And last night I was playing. This week I've been playing, and then today starting to see some of the same issues that I was seeing before, so I'm a little concerned. So hopefully I don't lose the computer again.
Oh man!
So I don't miss out on Street Fighter before I'm gone for 2 more weeks. So we'll see. But I'm very excited about Street Fighter. I've been looking forward to playing Lily. I played a bunch today when I should have been doing other things in my life, like being a father and other things like that. But it was great. I'm very excited to play some and get my ass handed to me by Zando. So.
Well, that leads right into my highlight of the week. Street Fighter 6.
Shit out again.
Street Fighter 6 is finally out. It feels like it's been years since it's been announced. We realized last night that it was, about a year and a half since it's been announced, actually.
Yeah, like something in February, like 20th or something like that.
Yeah, or arguably November of 21, if you count them introducing Luke into Street Fighter 5 and saying he's part of the future of Street Fighter. But yeah, it's something I've been looking forward to, and every time I would play the beta or the demo, I would have to go back to Street Fighter 5. Like, man, this isn't it. It was like waiting for Smash Brothers Brawl to come out, and you play Melee, and you're like, there aren't enough characters. What am I doing here?
I feel like what you just said is sacrilegious a little bit, though, being like, I wish I want Brawl and not Melee. I feel like somewhere in the universe, a bunch of people just got really mad at you.
No, in hindsight, absolutely, Melee is the better game. But I remember being so excited for all the new characters coming out, like logging onto the website every night at midnight to see what the new thing was going to be. Most of the time, it just being like an item and being let down. But then every once in a while, it was a glorious day when a new character was announced.
That's fair.
And so, yeah, just all the characters that would come up. My friends and I we would sit down, we'd play Melee, and we're like, oh, there's just not enough characters. Something we still jokingly say today, even as we play Ultimate, that has all of the characters. Like, oh, it's just not enough characters.
Oh, there's like only 100 characters,
right? So yeah, I'm really excited to finally be able to play Street Fighter 6. I got reunited with Zangief last night, and it was glorious. Although we did run a lot of random games where I didn't get a lot of Zangief, so I'm looking forward to putting some more time in. My wife is a clergy person, and they have their big church conference this weekend, which is poorly timed, and I couldn't find the right person to complain to get them to move it. So today I've spent the entire... What's that?
Did you try God?
That was the first place I went. So I've had to spend the entire day with the kids, which was great. Like, honestly, I've been kind of dreading this weekend because solo parenting is always a pain in the neck, but honestly, I've just kept the kids busy, and we've just had a great time together, and the kids have been in good moods, which is that's kind of like my second highlight, is that they have just been a lot of fun. And I've got a 2.5-year-old, and he's talking so much more now. And we were driving in the car today, and clear as a bell, he's like, hey, Dada, what's your favorite part of the day? And it's like 9 a.m. I'm like, I'm having a good morning with you. He goes, yeah, my favorite part of the day is hanging out with you guys. Like, just so clear, dude. But like still a 2-year-old. Mm-hmm. And so that just, it gets you real good. So
heart melts.
Yeah, it's true. I've got my my monitor next to me with my kids. So I'm trying to listen out for that. And I think I might have left a window or something. Do you guys hear all that extra noise?
No.
You guys hear anything? Is it coming through?
No, I don't hear anything right now.
No, man, I feel like everywhere I hear the sounds of marching, charging feet, boys. Because summer's here and the time is right for fighting in the streets, boys. But what can a poor boy do except sing for a rock and roll band? Because in a sleepy London town, there's no place for a street fighting man. But luckily, this isn't London. This is America. And we have Street Fighter. And so that's what we're talking about today, guys. Street Fighter's finally here. And although we've talked about fighting games before, I wasn't on that episode for some weird reason. And we've never focused solely on Street Fighter. So that's what we are here to do today. Let's talk about Street Fighter. Did I say Street Fighter enough? You guys pumped?
We're talking about Tekken?
Yes, Tekken Cross
Cool.
Street Fighter. Go.
Cool.
What are your thoughts? So obviously the first question we have to ask is, do you remember the first time you played a Street Fighter game? Which one was it? Because there were 1,000 different versions. And what was your experience? What made you decide to check it out? And where did you kind of learn to play the game?
Now, real quick, before I answer this question, I do have to highlight the fact that those were lyrics to the song Street Fighting Man by the Rolling Stones. Zando did not have a stroke in the middle of the intro. So that's where that all came from, in case you weren't aware.
I just thought the headband he had tied was just a little too tight.
Like way too tight around the brain meats. Yeah.
Listen, I got JCVD in the background. I got to perform. That's why I'm so amped up, man.
It's true.
I got to be on as much
Wearing
cocaine as he was on that movie.
You're wearing a white linen shirt. You kind of look like Ryu right now. Like, it's a good look.
It's intentional. It's intentional.
No, honestly, I didn't even think about that when I put this on. I was just like, oh man, I'm wearing a tank top that I've been wearing outside all day. I need to be a little bit more dressed up.
Yeah. Anyway, I definitely played Street Fighter 2 in the arcade. And by the arcade, I mean at Great Skate. So I was playing it while trying not to like roll away on roller skates, which was, our local skating rink. I remember there was like a crowd of people around it. There was one guy who kept playing, and then other people would like go up and then leave and go up and then leave. Right. And so I had no clue what was going on. I didn't understand arcade etiquette. I didn't get any of that. And so I went up, I put my money in. I was like, all right, like, is this like Golden Axe? Like, are we going to move forward? Is this like Final Fight? And then like my ass was on the ground. And so I like was like, oh, okay. And then I like put more money in, and I was like dead. And then I was like, okay, so we're fighting against each other here. And then I put more money in, and then I was like dead. And I've spent like $4 on this, which doesn't seem like a lot, but that it's the equivalent of like an 80s bully, like knocking the kid over like again and again and again, and the kid just like coming back at him, but then charging him $4 to do it. So that was my experience.
What an awful time the 90s was, where the people in the arcade weren't like excited to play with people. They're just like, I'm just going to beat this kid up and not tell him that this isn't Golden Axe.
Shit was ridiculous.
So for me, mine also was Street Fighter 2, but mine was at the home console. We had it for the Super Nintendo. It was just Super Street Fighter. I don't know what the official version was, and I know it wasn't Turbo. I know that it wasn't Turbo, and I know
you didn't have DJ.
I didn't have DJ. You know what's crazy is because I stopped. I didn't really play fighting games up until when I came back for Street Fighter 5. When I found out that like Cammy and all these people were in a version of Street Fighter 2, I was like, wait, what? No, that's not real. The Street Fighter game I played only had 8 characters. What are you talking about? Actually, that's not true. We did have we had the bosses. So
yeah, so then you had Turbo at least. Because if it was SNES, Turbo is when they introduced the 4 boss characters. Super Street Fighter is when they brought in Cammy, DJ, Fei Long, and T-Hawk, and Tony Hawk.
Okay, Tony Hawk. Wow,
yeah, that's what the T stands for.
Learning things new today. It was a great time though. It was one of the 2 games that my sister would play with me. I think I've mentioned this before and different podcasts. So we would play till we got blisters on our hands, because like those NES controllers, right? The A and B were rounded edges, but then X and Y had like the little like concave. Yep. And the concave ones, man, they would destroy your fingers over if you were hammering on them. And that was a wonderful memory for me. So
yeah, I always remember Turbo being the one that had the boss characters in it, and I remember watching Wreck-It Ralph for the first time, and that's that scene in the beginning, and this is Street Fighter adjacent, so that's why I'm bringing it up. When he's talking about how he wants something more, he doesn't always want to be the bad guy, he wants the medal, and then M. Bison specifically looks at him and goes, "You're not going turbo, are you?" I thought, oh my God, what a cool deep pull from where the bad guys became playable. And that's what Ralph wants. And then, of course, you realize that turbo means something else completely. But And that moment, I was like, that is an insanely deep cut.
I mean, it might have been intentional, though.
Yeah,
I hope so. That in my head canon, that's what it meant. And then this dude just happened to be named Turbo. Who knows? But to answer my own question here, I remember my brother renting Street Fighter 2 World Warriors for SNES. And I was like 6 or 7, and it was shortly after he had rented Mega Man 3. And so I remember being confused when we played Mega Man 3 because there was all these characters on the screen and you selected them and you didn't get to play as them. And so when I played Street Fighter, I was like, oh, do I just have to fight this guy? Like, is this what I'm doing? And then no, I got to play that guy, and it was really exciting. That's what I thought Mega Man 3 was going to be the first time I played. So I was not good. My brother would, in his my brother's 8 years older than I am, so he had a much better grasp on what he was doing. And the only character I could do anything with was Guile, because it was a very simple input: hold back for 2 seconds, forward punch. Right.
That was my exact feeling, because my sister was 6 years older than me, and the main reason that it worked for me is that she would always forget that Guile had the second kick on his heavy kick. So you do the spin kick, and then the second kick would hit, and she'd always forget.
That still gets me, to be honest with you. That's every once in a while, like, oh, that second roundhouse, man. Like, but it wasn't until Street Fighter Alpha 3 for the PlayStation I bought that, because I heard that Guile came back, because I remember playing Street Fighter Alpha 2 on the SNES that weirdly had load times. And I was like, oh, Guile's not in this game. Like, why am I even going to play this? And so when I saw he was back in Street Fighter Alpha 3, I bought that, and my buddy Craig and I would play for hours on end. And that's when I finally learned how to do a Hadoken, how to do all the different inputs. And so that's kind of where I feel like that's where I learned to play Street Fighter. But my first experience was the original Street Fighter. But go ahead.
Before you move on, I had Alpha 2. I never put it together that it had load times. I just thought that game was slow as fuck. And so hearing, like, yes, you are right, that game had load times in an era when load times didn't exist.
Not on cartridge games.
Yeah. So, like, what?
Yeah, they when they made the game, there is a way that you can like emulate it and make it run smoothly. It's a weird bug in the coding where it's trying to load those assets, and instead of like letting the game run smoothly, it just freezes everything. So you have like that ready fight, and then it's like frozen for a second.
Yep.
And then everybody starts to move. Yeah, I remember thinking it was so bizarre. Like, why are there load times in my Super Nintendo game?
Yeah. God, insane. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no worries,
you just blew my mind.
So speaking of the characters, Street Fighter is known for its wild and sometimes problematically stereotypical cast of characters. What are some characters, for better or worse, that stand out to you as some of your favorites?
So I'll jump in. I mean, I'm a big fan of Chun-Li. I was a big fan when we were young and playing the game, because I loved being able to use her wall jump in Street Fighter 2. My sister always played Ryu because she knew how to play Ryu, and I could use that to jump over her Shoryuken sometimes, or her fireballs. So I fell in love. Plus, I was a young kid, right? So it was easy to spam the kicks button to get her lightning kicks. I just think she's like just one of the queens and like the icons of fighting games as a whole. And now as I've gotten older and really gotten into the genre as a whole, she's just a really technical character and very, very cool. She's almost too technical for me now in Street Fighter 6, so we'll see if I can figure it out or not. But I just appreciate that it's someone who kind of she's like a main character, but like her goal was always to like master and become like stronger and better, and like, but to be able to play her, you also had to do those things. You really had to hone her timing to be able to do things that were just ridiculously difficult to do. So
excellent. Well, like I had kind of alluded to before, Guile was my first love, again because he had a move that I could do. And Chun-Li had the same thing with the spinning bird kick, but I couldn't make it work quite as well as the sonic boom. But since then, I kind of played around with Ken for a little while, and then I exchanged the red gi for the red cyclone and haven't looked back. When Street Fighter 4 came out and I had the joystick in my hand and could figure out the 360 motion, that was it, man. I didn't need anybody else. He was a monster in 4, and has continued to be a monster as he goes forward. And I love that style of just like, if I get close to you, you're done. And he's a big dumb fighter character, and I love that in any kind of game I play.
And to be clear, just in case you are not deep in the Street Fighter lore, the red cyclone is Zangief. Thank you, actually.
Zangief. Yes.
Zangief. Zando has corrected me many times on that pronunciation after he has beaten me bloody in our Discord. So just to clarify that as well, too.
Sorry, I keep forgetting that red cyclone isn't as synonymous for everybody else as it is for me. But I really liked Hakan from Street Fighter 4. He was a weird Turkish oil wrestling character, and he again is a grappler, so it fits. But he had a move where he could just it was like a dragon punch motion, so forward, down, forward punch, and he would pull out bottles of oil, and he would get shiny, and then he could move faster. He could slide a little bit farther, and his attacks did a little more damage. He would just grab you and hug you until you popped out because he was so slippery. It was awesome. He had a special, an ultra move where you just tapped down 3 times and then punches, and he would lay on the ground. And if an enemy was jumping and they landed on you, well, then he had you and he did his move, and it was amazing. I really hope he gets brought back, but he probably won't because he was super weird. And the super weird characters tend to never ever come back, like Necro from Street Fighter 3. It doesn't happen. How about you, Dale?
I also am a huge fan. I'm just going to call him Zangief because
that's fine.
Fuck it. Yeah. I'm also a huge fan of him. I loved his grappler style. It was just so different from anyone else's fighting style back then. Like you would play a Mortal Kombat, there wasn't really a grappler. There wasn't somebody who could just grab you and do a pile driver. I also was a fan of wrestling as a kid, and so it's like, oh great, these are moves that I am familiar with. But my first love was Blanca. And the reason I love Blanca is because there's this cast of here is a normal looking man, and here is another normal looking man, and here is a normal looking lady. Also, here's this green motherfucker. And it's like, what's his deal? Why is he green? No one knows. To this day, no one knows why. I've heard a million different explanations. None of them make any fucking sense. It's great. And also as a kid, the ability to just spam and electrocute was amazing. And you had the Guile Sonic Boom. It was the same motion for his cannonball attack, but at the end of that, you were right next to him, so you could just electrocute him again. It was great. I love it.
And that electrocution animation was just so cool. In the beginning of the Street Fighter, when you only had his electrocute and Dalsim's fire, those were the only 2 special animations on that was so awesome. When you got to see that would pop out.
Yeah, it was always good. As far as modern day, I actually also really like Akuma. I think he's just a cool character. I've never been I prefer Ken, I prefer Ryu. So for me, it's Akuma's hey, this guy's better than both of them. Fuck all y'all.
You ain't wrong. I remember when my brother and I were playing Street Fighter 2 for the first time. My brother picked Blanca because it reminded him of now I'm drawing a blank on his name, from Pro Wrestling for the NES. The Amazon.
Yeah,
because he would just like the Amazon in Pro Wrestling, he could grab you and just start biting you, and that's one of Blanca's attacks as well. So he always that's always what I think of there. But I've got wonderful news for you, Dale. I hold in my hands the Street Fighter World Warrior Encyclopedia. It's a book that just talks about every single one of the characters, and according to this, a 10-year-old Blanca was flying to visit his uncle in Brazil when a Shadaloo operation caused the plane to crash. Of all the plane's passengers, Blanca was the only survivor. He was forced to stay alive and eventually grow up on his own, deep within a mountainous Brazilian jungle. His green skin tone, long claws, and superhuman speed are all attributes he acquired to help him endure in his new surroundings. His unique electrical abilities are said to have been gained through a tussle with an electric eel.
So you hear what I'm saying? That's obvious bullshit. That makes no sense. There is no way that people live in the jungle. They don't turn green.
Yeah, but they don't all live in the jungle after being the sole survivor of a plane crash because of some nefarious organization.
He gained his electrical powers from a tussle with an electric eel, Zando. That's bullshit. Nobody has explained why Blanca is green and can be electric. No one.
What about Jamie Foxx in Amazing Spider-Man 2? He gained his electrical abilities from a tussle with some electric eels.
Spoiler.
I mean, different electric eels, different scenario, and it was bad, but at least makes sense in universe, you know? Like,
that might also explain why Blanca's teeth look so nice as opposed to, because he fixed his gap in his tooth in that movie. Anyway, let's stop talking about Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Please.
Speaking of things we hate, what characters in the Street Fighter universe do you just hate? Like what rubs you the wrong way about certain characters? For me, it's most of the characters in Street Fighter 5. Just the ones that were introduced specifically, like, because that's the only way I've seen them is in that like weird graphic style that they did. Colleen, I don't know what it is about her face. I just actually want to punch it in real life. Like whenever I play somebody who's playing Colleen and I lose, I just see her victory pose. I'm like, you have a face that even a mother could punch. And like Oro, oh man, I don't like looking at him. And he's annoying when the right person knows how to play him and you can't do anything because he's just a combo monster. Just Street Fighter V's animation style. Some characters look kind of cool, but man, that's one of those things we're gonna go back in like 5 days and be like, oh man, that game was rough, right?
Yeah.
Especially in like 10 years, or like, man, what were they thinking in Street Fighter V's graphics design?
What are you talking about? Banana hair Ken is best Ken.
Yeah, it's really sad that it took until not even Street Fighter, Smash Brothers Ultimate for us to finally get a good 3D model of Ken.
Yeah,
shout out to Nintendo for that.
Thanks, guys.
For me, it's Hugo. I just can't look at him. He's just so ugly. And he's so big and so slow. And like I've seen like Justin Wong do fun things with him, and it still just makes me angry because I'm like, I don't like you being like able to do things. I just there's something about like his face looks like it's like scrunched up, like it should be like it's like he's dead almost. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
kind of love Hugo, but only because it looks like Robert Crumb drew Andre the Giant.
Well, that's what they were based on. Him and Alex were based on Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. That's why in the promotional art they have that kind of same WrestleMania 3 pose of like Hulk Hogan looking up at Andre the Giant. That's what inspired those two characters specifically. The sprite art from Street Fighter 3 Hugo is hideous. You're absolutely right, and they somehow made it worse in Street Fighter 4, but because he's a grappler and I saw how people handled him, I kind of got over it a little bit, and I kind of love how goofy he looks, but I understand where you're coming from. Like that's a rough thing to look at.
I got into the World Tour mode on Street Fighter 6, and there was a big old billboard with his face on it, and I went, oh god, I hate this so much. I also shout out to another Street Fighter 5 character, Nikali, just dumb. It's just so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Him as a character is dumb. The whole idea of him is dumb, and his character design is dumb. It's like they're like, we want another Blanca, but not as good and more dumb looking. Like,
and we'll give him a special move that turns him into a Super Saiyan, and his hair just stands straight up.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all. What about you, Dale?
It's interesting that Xander points out the fact that Alex was designed after Hulk Hogan, because I hate Hulk Hogan. I've kind of always hated Hulk Hogan, and I also fucking hate Alex from Street Fighter 3. I'm not sure if it's the fact that he just looks like a dumb meat mountain, right? Like he's just like a beefy triangle of a human, and I always hate that sort of design when it's like there's no like character behind it. You know, like Zangief, he's a beefy guy, but he's also like, ha ha ha, I'm a silly beefy guy. Alex is like, I'm a serious beefy guy. I could be in a Gears of War game and not be out of place. And it's just like, you suck so bad. Also, all of his moves felt way different than anyone in the Street Fighter roster before him. and so it was like he was transported from a different game series into Street Fighter, and so I hate him for it. And I hated him back then. I just never stopped hating him, so I continue to hate him. Also, Luke, who you mentioned, was like part of Street Fighter V. They added him, and he's like the future of Street Fighter. He looks like a fucked up Popeye.
You ain't wrong.
Yeah.
His like forearms are way too big. He's like smuggling turkeys in them or some shit. His design just sucks.
Yeah, it's 5 did him a real disservice. 6 made him even a little bit bigger. I will have say, and maybe this is just me because I've watched too much stuff on Street Fighter 6 and all the publicity stuff. I really like his voice actor Alex Lee, and like the personality of that person. And now I've just I think I'm seeing Alex Lee instead of Luke sometimes when I look at it, because I just imagine him, and I think I've gone into this place of coping. But yes, you were completely right. He is so dumb looking.
I'm curious as to find out. Have you seen the alternate costume for Luke?
I have.
I know Dale, like specifically.
No,
have you seen? I need you to look up costume 2 from Street Fighter 6 and see if it makes you hate him more.
Okay, I'm doing Google right now. Dude, I typed Luke costume 2 and I got an Amazon ad for a bunch of Luke Skywalker shit.
Oh, dude, me too.
Oh, God. Alternate Street Fighter 6 costumes revealed. Oh, my God. He's like the ultimate fuckboy.
Yup.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
His hat. His little flip-up hat in the back.
He looks terrible. Oh God, he's got a thigh pack. I hate everything about him.
How many pockets does he have, Dale?
He has no less than 5 visible pockets right now.
And there's hidden pockets.
He's facing us, so he's got at least 2 on the back of his pants.
In case you don't know, Dale hates pockets. That's the only reason he doesn't like cable. He told me.
I've got a bunch of reasons for not liking cable. But yeah,
and it's weird that because Alex is in design is very Liefeldian. That makes total sense that you would hate Alex.
Yep. Damn. Oh man! All right.
Well, I'm very happy that you saw it, but I'm also sorry that you saw.
It looks so fucking bad.
I'm so sorry.
His forearms are so big they have stretch marks on them. Like, what were you thinking?
Well, he carried babies in those arms, man. You can't hold that against him.
Too much spinach, man. You're right.
God, he sucks so bad. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah. Well, Street Fighter ain't just a game, my friends. It's also a bunch of movies, TV and anime series, comic books, etc. Have you ever consumed any non-video game Street Fighter content? And if you have, what are your thoughts? And maybe I did ask this so that we can all collectively laugh at the Jean-Claude Van Damme flick. So if you want to just jump right into that, feel free to do so.
So I'm going to jump in first and just come out right and say I actually have not consumed any of that wonderful content. It's now on my list. I know that there's been some animated stuff as well too. One of the things that I saw in now Cammy from Street Fighter 6 has a move that is one of her finishers or her super moves is an homage to one of the movies, and it's really
Street
cool.
Fighter 2 animated movie.
Yeah, the Street Fighter. Yeah, so and you can see a shot for shot comparison, and it's really cool that they are honoring that in the game now. I haven't had the pleasure of seeing the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
I'm actually surprised at that. I feel like that needs to be a thing when you come into town. We just need to sit down and watch that movie because it's bad. It is comically bad, and there's very little actual fighting in it. And every time there almost is, something absurd happens to stop it.
Yeah, I think that's probably the reason why I never did watch it, because I've always heard it was bad, and like I said, I stepped away from Street Fighter for so long. I mean, I only do before. I mean, now that we're in the golden age of video game films and things like that, just stayed away from it all. And this was, I mean, Street Fighter, the movie was part of the reason of that. Like that's right up there with your Mario Bros. At least Mario Bros. There's something about it, right? You got Bob Hoskins in there, like you got
John Leguizamo.
Yeah, you got both of those guys.
Let me tell you what you have in the Street Fighter movie. You have Raul Julia just chewing the scenery fucking up. He's all over that shit, like pouring syrup on the backgrounds and just gnawing through them. It was insane. He was the only good part of that movie.
That's true.
I saw it as a kid. Even as a kid, like when you're a kid, you've got a pretty high tolerance for bullshit. I knew that movie was bullshit as a kid. Like that's how bad it was.
I just looked up because apparently there's something about a Tuesday.
Yes, I'll bring it up later. It is honestly one of the best villain lines ever. But that's part of our sponsored question later. So you just wait.
I'm sorry.
Yes. I am looking this up. I did not realize that Ming Na Wen was Chun-Li. That's really? Totally wild.
Yeah, Ming Na Wen was Chun-Li and
Kylie Minogue
was Cammy. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
God.
And the dude who played E Honda shows up in some random stuff, and every time I see him, I'm like, that's E Honda. Like it's such a weird thing for my kid mind to remember. He's one of the players for I believe it's the Felons team in basketball. Trey Parker ends up doing the Cartman voice to like piss him off and like falls over. But yeah, he's like Tuttle is his name in that movie. But I was like, oh, that's E Honda.
Oh man!
But I don't think anybody else went on to do anything. And Jean-Claude Van Damme, Raul Julia passed away shortly after the movie finished. And I think it's honestly because he gave everything he had to make that movie, and he succeeded. Yeah. And after that, it's like, I'm never going to top this performance. I'm out. See you guys.
Outside of the movie, I read some of the comics back when I was working in a comic book shop, and I can tell you that those vary wildly in quality. Some of them were just like absolute just ass blasters, but every now and again there'd be like a Ken or whatever issue that would come out, and it would be like legitimately good, which is pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. I also tried playing the Street Fighter card game. Not the new one that came out like a couple years ago, but the one that came out like 15 years ago. And that one was also terrible. So,
right. It was like a deck builder that came out.
Yeah. It was trying to capitalize off of Magic the Gathering. Yeah. And it just did a bad job.
Yeah. Yeah. The one that came out in the last few years interested me. And I think you can download so it's like fighting game with the cards. Like it's some weird, you would put down the cards and it would be the moves that you could do or something like that. It seemed really interesting. And I think you can download a demo pack of it where you just like cut out your own cards of Ken and Ryu. And I thought about getting into it, but it was way too expensive. Like it was like, I don't remember what it was for 4 characters, and they sold so many expansion packs. And I was like, man, I'm going to want all of these. And I can't do it.
Yeah, I've seen they have a Street Fighter 5 board game as well too. That's mini based, I think. That I've seen a few times. I actually I think Jerry Jarvis is selling his Kickstarter. Jay Jarvis on Twitch. I think he's selling it on some platform. I couldn't remember, but I've saw it and it looked really cool, but I didn't spend the time to actually learn how to play the game.
A miniature game for Street Fighter makes no sense because there should only be 2 miniatures on the board at any given point.
Right?
True. We need Rock'em Sock'em Robot Street Fighter. That's the only kind of board game we need.
Right.
My brother took me to the Street Fighter movie when it came out. And I've always kind of loved the cheesiness of it. I think as a kid, even I was just excited to see all the characters on screen. I had all of the little G.I. Joe Street Fighter figures. But yeah, as I go back and watch it, like, yeah, this is a bad movie and it's a little bit hard to get through, but there are moments that are just, and mostly it's Raul Julia, that are just great. The movie doesn't make any damn sense. There's a whole thing where Guile like pretends to be dead and like, what? This does nothing to advance the plot of the movie. You just did this for some crazy coincidental thing.
Okay, to be fair, I don't blame the movie for that because the Street Fighter lore is absolute.
What are you talking about?
Shit.
Blanca was a 10-year-old visiting his uncle in Brazil. This plane crashed and he turned green and got electric powers. That's
Street Fighter 5 is both before and after Street Fighter 3. It doesn't make sense.
What?
Yeah.
It is.
The timeline of the Street Fighter games.
It's so messed up.
Yeah, it's like Street Fighter Alpha 1, 2, and 3 are first, and then it's Street Fighter 1, and then Street Fighter 4, and then 2. It's something wacky like that. Yeah, like 5 is somehow in the middle of 3.
And after 3.
Yeah. And 6 is supposed to be like after all of it. Like I think they're finally like, forget that fucked up weird lore. 6 it's gonna make sense, we promise. But I kind of feel like if you're coming to Street Fighter for the story, you're in the wrong place, man. You just need to kind of get a basic idea of what they're doing and make up the rest in your head, and you're going to be a lot happier. So on top of the JCVD movie, I also really enjoy the anime movie. But probably my favorite piece of Street Fighter media is an anime series called Street Fighter 2V. It's ridiculous, and the ending credits is just like a bunch of like slightly homoerotic like snapshot pictures of Ryu and Ken hanging out and being friends. But it's just such a goofy story, and for some of the characters, it's like really good depictions of them. Like one of my favorite moments is when they fight Guile for the first time. They're like Ken and Ryu are just going around like, yeah, we're tough guys and we know how to fight, so we're gonna go on and try to fight people. And they go to an army bar and they start to pick a fight, and Guile just steps in and beats their ass. And they run to get out of there, and they hit a dude off his motorcycle and they take it. And as they take it, Ken just throws a whole bunch of money at him. And the guy goes, oh, I'm rich. And Ken turns around on the motorcycle and goes, no, I'm rich. You're lucky. Like to me, that's Ken Masters. Zangief gets introduced and he just talks like an idiot, and it's great. Like it's such a good dumb series. On top of that, one other that I forgot to mention, even in our outline here, there was a short series, I think Machinima released it a while back on YouTube, called Assassin's Fist. It was a live action telling of kind of the backstory of Ken and Ryu and the guy Goken who trained them, and kind of the origins of Akuma. And the makeup was dumb. Like Akuma looks awful. Looks like a 1970s movie version of Akuma. It looks bad, but they do it so well that you kind of forgive them for it. And they also tried to do a follow-up series when Street Fighter 5 came out, and I don't remember what that was called. It was done less well, but it was still like they weren't taking themselves too seriously, but they were trying to like kind of make it grounded in reality. But the Assassin's Fist movie, if you can still get it, it was really good. I own it on Blu-ray because I worked at a video store that sold it when it came out. And I think you can still find it subtitled on YouTube if you look for it. But it's called Street Fighter's Assassin's Fist. If you can deal with a little bit cheesiness, it's actually a really, really well done movie.
Before we move on, you reminded me of, without question, the best Street Fighter media that's out there, which is Pete Holmes. In Street Fighter Red Tape, where he interviews various Street Fighter characters as though they are working in an office and he is trying to hire them. They are all great. You should look every one of them up.
Oh yeah, these are great.
Isn't it Kumail Nanjiani plays Dalsum at one point?
Yeah.
Yep. Joel McHale plays Guile.
Yes.
And Pete Holmes tells him that he looks like a Toby Keith song, Fuck to G.I. Joe.
That's amazing. Oh yeah, Tom Middleditch plays Ken. Wow, he's got quite the cast.
Yeah, there's it was like Animation Domination. It was something that was like on Fox apparently at some point, but you can look up songs you didn't know had lyrics, and they do Guile's theme, and they do a song where it's all about how Guile doesn't have eyebrows, and I can't hear Guile's theme anymore without thinking about how he doesn't have eyebrows.
Which is a shame because Guile's theme goes with everything.
Yes. And now he does have eyebrows in Street Fighter 6. They finally gave him eyebrows.
Really?
Yes. And it makes me think of that song. He's like, Guile's one thing is never go out with fucking eyebrows. Yeah, they gave him facial hair and including eyebrows in this game.
So are they implying that when he was shaving, he was also shaving off his eyebrows?
I mean, if you look at any old art of Guile, you'll be hard pressed to see any eyebrows.
I'm looking at old Art of Guile. There's no eyebrows. I understand that, but I thought that was like a thing. Like Whoopi Goldberg doesn't have eyebrows; she just doesn't grow them, right? But Guile just like he's been shaving off his eyebrows, is what we just learned.
Yeah, in that cartoon, it shows him go to the store and he buys Vega brand razors to shave off his eyebrows. It's great. You should look it up.
Perfect.
A spectacle in modern fighting games has been the guest character. For example, Tekken 7 had Akuma from Street Fighter, among others, like Negan from Walking Dead and Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. Mortal Kombat had the Terminator, among others. And Street Fighter has not yet to really have a guest character, unless you count like Akira from Street Fighter 5, who is originally a rival schools character. And if you want to go a step further, the Final Fight characters came over, but they've kind of established it's all in the same universe. So what characters would you like to see enter the fray in Street Fighter 6 if they do start bringing in guest characters?
So my real answer in this is like, I would really like to see some of the Guilty Gear or anything from ArcSys Systems come over. I think it'd be really cool to see how they could integrate in there. Even like any of the DBZ characters that they've done as well too. Obviously you'd have to tone them down a bit.
Right.
But I think it'd be cool to see someone like that in the same 2D fighter world. I think they could translate well. I was trying to think of something like outrageous, and nothing has come to me yet. So I'm gonna let you guys talk, and I'm gonna stew for a second.
Perfect. Well, we had a tease of it in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, but I would love to have King from Tekken show up just so Zangief would have more wrestling guys to fight. I think that'd be a cool option. And I just had another one and it's completely escaped me and I'm really sad about it. Oh, anybody from like Final Fight, like Terry Bogard, I'd love to see come over, or any of those characters. But again, I think Street Fighter kind of has that more in their Versus series, and that's probably why they don't do guest characters like Marvel vs. Capcom vs. SNK and all that. But yeah, King from Tekken, I think, would be my top choice for a guest.
Look, here's the one that I don't understand why they haven't done, because it's also owned by Capcom. But if you're not going to make a new Power Stone, just put some of those characters in Street Fighter, right?
Oh, that's such a good call out.
Wantan and like the robot guy whose name I forget. All of those guys are great. All of them would be perfect in a Street Fighter game. Like, Capcom, get your shit together. Also, Voldo from Soul Calibur should be in Street Fighter. Because Voldo should be in every game. He's fucking wild as shit. If there's anyone where it's like, oh yeah, this guy fell into an interdimensional portal, like, yeah, that's Voldo. So you can explain him in literally any game. And then the only character that I could think of that is even dumber of an idea than Voldo is Necrid from Soul Calibur 2, the Todd McFarlane character.
Yeah, we're going to let you put Spawn in the game. Yeah, and you can have Spawn. That's fine. But I also need to come up with this other character. Okay, Todd, you go for it. Okay, his name's Necrid. He's got an orb in his chest, and it has all sorts of weapons in it.
Yep. And also, he is in no other games or no other media. Todd McFarlane created him exclusively for that game for some reason.
And I forgot all about that until you said the name. And even when you said Necrid, I was like, what the hell is that from? And then as you said Soul Calibur, in my head, it clicked at the same time. Yeah, that was a fucked up character. Gannon, you got your ridiculous one?
You come up with one? Is it Mr. Peanut?
I mean, that would be amazing. Seeing Mr. Peanut in there, like he could throw his hat as a projectile. He'd have his in Street Fighter 6 as a parry system, he could swing his monocle. It'd be great. Yeah. I think that's amazing. He could have a command grab where he opens his shell and grabs the person and envelops them.
I forget the name of the character who's just basically a fucking sarcophagus in Street Fighter versus Capcom. But yeah, that move. I love it.
That would be amazing. We tag teamed it.
Perfect.
All right.
First try.
Well, it wouldn't be an episode with me if I didn't have some kind of weird trivia for you guys. So again, I have the Street Fighter World Warrior Encyclopedia, and I'm going to try to stick to the original like 12 characters that were in Super Street Fighter or Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Maybe I'll dip into Turbo or Super, the ones with DJ Cammy and all them. But I'm going to try to just read off some random facts about these characters, and I need you guys to try to guess who they are.
I'm going to suck at this so bad. Bring it on.
I mean, I don't know how you could know any of this until I get to some of the more accurate things. So this character was born on December 23rd. Any guesses?
I know it's not Zangief because you sent me a message yesterday saying it's Zangief's birthday.
Yep,
so
with a picture of the page from this book, actually.
So December 23rd. I'm gonna go. It's Ryu.
It is not Ryu.
Oh.
This character likes American coffee.
E Honda.
Incorrect. Dislikes include the natto. I'm assuming that's some sort of food that Ryu fed him while he was in Japan.
Ken.
Nope. His special ability? Darts.
What?
Guile. It's Guile. Dale got it. You were saying it as I was showing you the page. You get it. That's 1 point, Dale.
Darts? He can break the sonic barrier with his hand. Darts?
Yep.
He'd be real good.
I'm just saying, if I could fly and also like make an origami crane and someone asked me what my special ability was, it would not be the fucking crane.
I mean, I think you could make a good crane though.
All right.
It'd be special to me.
The next character. Now, this is going to trip you up because there are two characters who have the same birthday. But the birth date is July 21st.
Boxer.
Boxer. That's a good guess, but incorrect.
That's not a guess, just to be clear.
I mean, Balrog or M. Bison, depending on what country you're in.
Right. I appreciated that you used the proper FGC term.
Mm-hmm.
All right. His fighting style is Thunderfoot martial arts.
He's T-Hawk.
Ganon's got it. Yep, T-Hawk.
Yeah.
Of course he has it. It's just racist enough to be accurate.
Wait, whoa! Of course he has it. It's just racist. Are you implying something?
I'm implying that the character design of T-Hawk is racist, not that you are.
We mentioned the problematic stereotypical
Thunder tribe. Yeah.
He said Thunderfoot, which is Lily's tribe, because this is the person that I want to play, and that is T-Hawk's daughter.
Well, T-Hawk also likes animals and hair accessories and dislikes lies. And his special abilities include wood carving and talking to birds of prey.
Perfect.
That makes sense.
All right, next up. Birthday, July 2nd.
Ken.
Ken is incorrect.
I'm just going to guess Ken for all of them.
Blood type. O.
Okay. I'm going to then...
This means he's a universal donor.
Oh, he said he.
So nuts. I gave it away. No, it is not Dalsum.
We're going to go with Blanca.
Nope. He likes strong opponents.
Ryu.
Nope.
Zangief?
Nope. I can't give his difference. It'll give it away. So I'm going to jump right over to special abilities. He can stay underwater for over 20 minutes.
Sagat?
Sagat is correct.
Oh, nice.
His dislikes include Shoryukens and cowards.
Amazing. You know what? Same dislikes here.
Yeah.
All right. This next character was also born on July 21st.
Yep.
Any thoughts? I'm sorry, it's not Ken.
Ken's always first.
He knew that was your tactic is to always guess Ken, so he swooped right in and took it from you.
Took it from me.
This is also a universal donor with a blood type of O.
Let's go with Cammy.
This character dislikes spiders.
Ooh.
Chun-Li.
Incorrect. Their special abilities are that they can sleep anywhere and hitchhiking.
Vega?
Nope.
No, Vega's way too pretty to sleep anywhere.
It's true.
I thought it meant sleep with anyone, anywhere.
Oh, no. The ability to sleep anywhere and hitchhiking.
Blanca?
No, his special ability is surviving plane crashes. If you want to know who could have stopped 9/11, it was Blanca. No.
Oh,
Likes the Path of the Warrior and Mizu Yukon.
Ryu.
That's Ryu, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew that he disliked spiders, actually. Oh, that's so dumb. Because in the demo, like when you do the verses against a CPU, it tells you like what they like and dislike.
Oh, nice.
And it shows up on the side. And I was like, oh, he dislikes spiders. Man, unlocked a memory.
At least they're consistent, you know?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just going to throw out a bunch of these and see if you can guess. This person was born on April 17th. They are 182 centimeters tall and 80 kilograms in weight. Blood type is A.
Tammy.
Dislikes weak people and incompetent underlings.
Bison.
M. Bison is correct. Dictator, if you will. All right. Birthday. Valentine's Day, February 14th.
Chun-Li.
Nope.
E Honda.
I can't believe you guys. No. Blood type is B. And they like skateboarding and pasta.
Ken.
Ken is correct. I said it specifically because I thought you guys would both swoop in and say it first, and you guys both abandoned the idea. He also dislikes pickled plums and soap operas.
I mean, who doesn't?
All right, we're gonna do one more before we move on.
Okay.
We're gonna stick to the original World Warriors, and let's see what's going on. Who was born on November 3rd?
Ken.
Dawson.
He learned from his mistake on the last one. He's not going to not guess Ken first. No, it is not Dalsim or Ken. They are 185 centimeters tall, including their hair.
Dude, what is up with these metrics?
Edward Honda is correct.
No, that's not true. His is not correct. It's Edmund Honda.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, sorry.
I got it right. Take that, man.
No, he gave it to you. It's Honda. I'm just going to go there. He likes tiramisu, chanko nabe, and sento. Dislikes indecision, and his special abilities include bath cleaning and hot pot governor.
I
don't know what hot pot governor is, but it's my new aspiration in life.
It sounds amazing. I thought I was joking when I said Edward Honda. I definitely thought it was something else. And no, it's just Edmund.
Yes.
It's like way too close to that. Why would they abbreviate that?
I don't know. It's also apparently in Street Fighter 6 you find out why he's named Edmund Honda, because everybody's like, why is this Japanese dude named Edmund? Like, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we don't know yet. But we've been informed in one of the reviews that we will find out.
So I did look through all of the birth dates yesterday because I was curious to see if I shared birthdays with any of them. And I share birthdays with Laura from Street Fighter 5, which I was like, oh, I can accept that. Laura's a cool character. And then Rufus from Street Fighter 4. I don't know if you guys remember Rufus from Street Fighter 4, but he had boob physics for his gigantic belly, and I hate him. That's another character that I should have put in my earlier answer. I hate Rufus, especially seeing what he could have been. Like, his original concept art was so cool, and we got fat Rufus, and I hate him.
Oh, dude, yeah, Rufus sucks.
He does.
Yeah.
Good to note, though, that Edmund Honda has gut physics in Street Fighter 6. Mm-hmm. The RE engine is working hard.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions about any other birth dates, hit me up in the Discord. I don't know that we want to necessarily throw out our birth dates on a podcast, but I'm happy to answer any of those questions. And any other likes or dislikes, hit me up in the Discord. I will break this book out and I will answer any questions about the World Warriors from this World Warrior Encyclopedia. But that brings us to today's sponsored question, which is brought to you by Tuesday. For you, the day Bison graced your village was the most important day in your life. But for Bison, it was Tuesday. One of the most cold-blooded villain lines ever.
So good.
Chun-Li's held captive, and she's like, "You came to my father. You killed him, and I swore that day I would swear revenge." And he's like, he's in a smoking jacket, pouring himself some wine, and he's just like, "For you, the day Bison graced your village was the most important day in your life, but for me, it's Tuesday."
It's so good.
So good.
It's got real big, like, you took everything from me, I don't even know who you are vibes. It's
Yes.
so good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The only way Thanos could have been more cool in that moment is if he was like, "Dude, it's Tuesday. I don't even know who you are." So our sponsored question is to pitch a spin-off series featuring one or more characters from Street Fighter. We know that Street Fighter is all about fighting, so let's just mix it up and throw it in a different way. How are we going to see the characters from Street Fighter in a brand new light?
I want Street Fighter kart racing. It's a little bit Mario Kart. It's a little bit Road Rash. The power-ups are like, special moves that you can do. Like, it just sounds like a real good time.
I never knew how badly I needed something until right now. I feel like that is the correct answer.
That's amazing. Mine is more of a crossover of like NBA Jam and Street Fighter, so we could get like all the special abilities. Like, I'd love to see Dalsim like dunking from half court,
from full court.
From full court, yeah, that's great. I'd love to see Blanca Ball. I'd love to see Geef doing some 360 dunks, like Shoryuken to like block the ball out of the net. Like, I feel like it could be really fun.
Of Blanca dunking himself is so good.
I feel like it's a little bit like Mega Man Soccer, but with Street Fighter.
Honestly, like, they could do all of the different Mario sports games just with Street Fighter characters, and it would probably be pretty great.
Yep.
Think of a baseball game where fucking Ryu does the hurricane kick to like hit the ball. Like, you're printing money at this point, Capcom.
It's true.
Yeah.
This is a good idea, Gannon.
Thank you. Thank you. I was pretty proud of it when I thought of it earlier. I couldn't think of a good silly character crossover, but this was it. This is where all my brain power went.
Well, because Zangief is always on my mind, I want Papers, Please, but with Zangief running the booth. I want there to be some sort of meter where he gets more and more frustrated with these idiots trying to get into his beloved mother, Russia, and eventually just like grabbing the terrorists and giving them a nice pile drive to the face,
Amazing. The like little booth that he's in gets progressively more damaged as he's like beating people up and shit.
There was a game that Capcom released called Pocket Fighter, and it was like chibi version or Gem Fighter if you're in Japan, and it was like little chibi versions of Street Fighter and Darkstalkers characters. And in the intro of Zangief's story mode, he's in a airplane in a business suit that's way too tight for him, like pulling glasses down. And I just picture that, like him working at a booth dressed as that and just like having to fight back the urge to rip that off and then just pile drive people.
I love it.
That's amazing.
Love it.
Oh, well, that's the end of the questions that I had prepared for you guys today, which leads us to our farewell. So let's tell folks where they can find us. Dale, you want to let us know where we can find you?
Yeah, I'm a 20-sided ninja on Twitch and in the Discord and sometimes on Twitter if I'm feeling funky. I don't know. I'm looking for other social media. So if you guys have recommendations, I might be giving up Reddit real soon because of their API fuck-aroundery. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to spend my time online. In the Discord, 100% of my time will just be in the Discord. Perfect echo chamber. I love it. Get in the Discord if you're not, by the way. It's great.
They'll be leaking documents.
TikTok, Reddit from now on.
I did send Dale a TikTok the other day. I felt bad, but it made me laugh, so I had to send it to him.
That's fair.
I'm also in the Discord. If my computer allows me to be, I'll be there. Cakeface playing Street Fighter. Come hang out. We'll be streaming a lot through Discord. I'm not streaming on Twitch right now just because it's a lot of effort to get that up and everything. But we're in the Discord streaming a lot as much as time and family and work allows. So.
Mm-hmm. And I am Zando Calrissian in the Discord. You can find me as Zando Calrissian pretty much everywhere. I will also be in the Discord playing Street Fighter. I'm hoping to jump on Twitch maybe and do some Street Fighter this weekend if I get a chance. Who knows? But that's always something that I want to do. But then I'm always like, I'd rather just be with friends that I can talk to and stream there. So we'll see if I can stop being lazy and broadcast to the world as bravely as everyone else.
Yeah.
Well, that leads us to, yes, Dale.
Dude, you know what I just realized? We never talked about in any of this.
What's that?
Any of the joke characters.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I hate the joke characters.
I fucking hate every one of the joke characters in Street Fighter. But you know who the worst one is?
Oh,
I'm going to guess Dan.
Yeah, fuck Dan.
Fuck that guy.
Steven Seagal motherfucker.
God damn it, Dan Abiki.
That was very well done. I applaud that. That's I didn't know where you're going for a second, and then I was like, oh, that's a perfect setup. Very well done.
You know what's making it better?
Me calling it out.
On it. Yeah, right now. You're making Clay proud. This is like a weird backwards transition. Like we're making it at the very end.
It's my first time hosting, all right? It can't be perfect all the way through, damn it. I love you guys. If you're listening, thanks for listening. And we'll catch you all later. Everybody, let's say goodbye.
Hope you have a super okay day.
Bye.
Bye.